The question of what happens after we pass from this world, and whether our departed loved ones continue to share in our lives on the other side, is a profound curiosity that touches the very core of our hearts. It's a query that often grows more intimate as the years pass, as we navigate the poignant experience of bidding farewell to those we hold dear. Do they truly watch over us? Do they witness our joys and sorrows, our triumphs and struggles? This isn't just a fleeting thought. It speaks to the essence of our existence and the enduring nature of the relationships that define our human journey. Many who walk the path of grief often recount experiencing strange, unexplainable coincidences in the weeks and months following a loss. A favorite song playing at the most unexpected moment, vivid dreams where a loved one appears with comforting messages, or an inexplicable feeling of their presence during pivotal decisions. Are these merely the heart's way of coping? Or could they be something more profound, a gentle whisper from beyond the veil? These deeply personal experiences, shared by countless individuals, invite us to explore the possibility of continued connection. Do you wish to attract positivity and good vibrations into your life? Comment below to affirm your desire for good things and to join our collective intention for a brighter path. And please tap like if you're ready to welcome these positive energies. While some may seek to explain these moments through psychology alone, the consistency of such accounts across different people and cultures beckons us to look further. Spiritual traditions throughout history have offered diverse perspectives on this mystery, with many suggesting that awareness and connection do not simply cease with physical death. Be sure to stay with us, because as our story unfolds, we will delve into remarkable insights, from ancient beliefs to modern inquiries, that shed light on this most tender of human questions. Could it be that the borders between life and what lies beyond are more permeable than we've often been led to believe? The feeling that our departed loved ones might still be present, offering comfort or guidance, is not a new phenomenon. Indeed, if we journey back through human history, we find a rich tapestry of beliefs and practices centered on maintaining a connection with those who have passed. Ancient civilizations, from the majestic empires of Egypt to the intricate cultures of China, established elaborate rituals to honor their ancestors. They firmly believed that the deceased to continue to influence earthly affairs and remain connected to the world of the living. The Egyptians, for instance, left offerings in tombs, convinced that their departed required sustenance in the afterlife, while some Chinese traditions continue to this day, with families burning paper money and symbolic offerings, holding on to belief that their ancestors need these items in the spirit world. These enduring practices, spanning millennia and continents, suggest a persistent human conviction that those who have gone before us are not entirely gone, but remain a part of our lives in some meaningful way. However, many modern Western perspectives have largely embraced a more clinical and separated view of death. The historical divide between science and spirituality often created a chasm in our collective understanding, with a strong emphasis on empirical evidence and tangible proof for the continuation of consciousness beyond physical demise. Yet, despite this prevailing view, countless individuals throughout time have continued to report profound and meaningful encounters with those who have crossed over. Early pioneering research into what became known as near-death experiences, documented by figures like Dr. Raymond Moody, brought forth astonishing accounts from people who were clinically dead before being resuscitated. Many described floating above their bodies, moving through tunnels of light, and even encountering deceased relatives who greeted them with love. While skeptical explanations often point to physiological reactions in the dying brain, the remarkable consistency of these experiences across diverse cultures and age groups remains a compelling area of inquiry. Similarly, the dedicated work of Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who spent decades with terminally ill patients, documented numerous instances of deathbed visions. In the days or hours before their own passing, many individuals reported seeing and conversing with previously deceased loved ones, encounters that often brought them immense comfort and peace, suggesting a gentle meeting place between worlds. What further insights can be gleaned from those who stand at the threshold between life and what lies beyond? And what does more recent research reveal about these mysterious connections? The tender moment of connection experienced by those at the threshold of life, often witnessing loved ones who have already passed, are further illuminated by the observations of compassionate healthcare professionals. Hospice nurses, who spend their days providing care and comfort to the dying, frequently report inexplicable moments that challenge conventional understanding. They share accounts of patients, sometimes nonverbal for days, suddenly engaging in lucid conversations with unseen visitors, or individuals with no ordinary means of knowing, somehow sensing when a distant relative has passed away. These professionals often express a sense that there is something profound happening that current medical science cannot fully explain. Encouragingly, the broader scientific community has begun to explore these deeply human experiences with greater seriousness in recent decades. Studies at various institutions have examined what is known as after-death communication, or ADC, where bereaved individuals report experiencing what they firmly believe to be contact from deceased loved ones. Some research centers have even conducted controlled laboratory studies with mediums under stringently blinded conditions, yielding intriguing results that invite further, open-minded investigation. What is particularly fascinating are the consistent patterns that emerge from these diverse sources, from personal anecdotes to more structured research. The communications from those who have passed rarely seem preoccupied with the mundane details of earthly life. Instead, they often center around themes of reassurance, the gentle encouragement to heal unresolved emotions, or offering guidance during significant life events and moments of crisis. This suggests not a constant, detailed surveillance of our daily activities, but rather a selective awareness, perhaps prompted by strong emotional connections or pivotal moments in our lives. Spiritual accounts, such as those from intuitive sources like Edgar Cayce, describe the afterlife not as a distant, disconnected realm, but as a different vibrational state existing alongside our own physical world. These perspectives suggest that consciousness continues on multiple planes simultaneously, and that the deceased maintain an awareness of their loved ones primarily through the enduring bond of affection and shared experience, rather than through continuous, detailed observation of every moment. One heartfelt story tells of an elderly man who, after 60 years of marriage, was driving home from his wife's funeral when their special, obscure song began playing on the radio, a tune rarely, if ever, aired. In that same moment, the car filled with her familiar perfume. While some might label it coincidence or grief-induced imagination, for him, the experience was undeniably real, a fleeting, beautiful moment where he knew his beloved wife was there, letting him know she was okay. If consciousness is merely a product of brain function, how do we begin to understand such deeply resonant experiences, or the numerous accounts of shared visions and inexplicably received information? These heartfelt accounts and emerging patterns of communication invite us to ponder more deeply the nature of consciousness itself. If awareness were merely a byproduct of brain function, how then can we understand phenomena such as shared death experiences, where healthy individuals attending to a dying loved one report remarkably similar visions or sensations at the moment of passing? Or consider the numerous cases where people recount receiving specific information they couldn't possibly have known through any conventional means, information that is later verified as accurate. Such occurrences gently challenge purely materialistic explanations and open the door to considering other possibilities. Interestingly, concepts emerging from quantum physics offer intriguing, though metaphorical, parallels. The principle of non-locality, for instance, describes how particles, once connected, can continue to instantaneously affect each other regardless of the distance separating them. Could consciousness, in some way, operate with a similar kind of interconnectedness, maintaining bonds that transcend physical separation, even the separation of death? When we turn to the world's diverse spiritual traditions, we find a wealth of perspectives on this enduring connection. Buddhism, for example, teaches that consciousness continues after death, potentially entering rebirth or various transitional states. Texts like the Tibetan Book of the Dead describe in intricate detail the experiences of consciousness in the period following physical demise, suggesting that the departed can retain awareness of their loved one's grief, but are also encouraged to release earthly attachments to progress on their own spiritual journey. This implies not a constant, detailed watching of earthly affairs, but perhaps a selective awareness that gradually shifts as the soul moves forward. To continue inviting enlightenment and the flow of good things into your journey, comment "Hope" below as a personal affirmation for continued illumination and positive happenings. These ancient wisdom teachings, when considered alongside modern accounts, paint a picture where the connection is not necessarily severed, but transformed. The possibility that those we love might still be aware of us, even in a different capacity, can offer immense comfort and may even inspire us to live our own lives with greater authenticity and love. What do other cultures believe about the role of ancestors? And how does the idea of a permeable veil between worlds influence their understanding of life and death? Beyond the philosophical insights of Buddhism, many indigenous cultures around the globe maintain a vibrant and active relationship with their ancestors, believing them to be ongoing participants in community life. The Maori of New Zealand, for instance, view departed family members as guardians who continue to guide and protect their descendants. During important ceremonies, it is believed that the veil between worlds thins, allowing for more direct communication and a palpable sense of their presence. Similarly, the beautiful Mexican Day of the Dead celebrations create a sacred and joyful space for families to reconnect with the spirits of their ancestors, who are lovingly welcomed back to the earthly realm for a brief visit. Islamic tradition speaks of the soul entering a state known as barzakh, after death, an intermediate realm or barrier between earthly life and the eventual resurrection. While in this state, it is believed the soul can retain some awareness of earthly affairs, particularly when family members visit grave sites or offer prayers in their name. However, this awareness is generally understood to be focused more on spiritual matters than on the mundane details of daily life. What is truly striking is how these diverse traditions, despite their unique cultural expressions, share certain common threads. Most suggest that while the departed retain some connection to those they loved, their primary focus is on their own continuing spiritual journey. The watching, when it seems to occur, often appears to be selective, perhaps in response to a moment of great significance or when directly called upon through heartfelt prayer or cherished ritual. Grief counselors who work closely with bereaved individuals often document remarkably consistent patterns in what are described as after-death communications. These experiences frequently unfold during transitional states of consciousness, while falling asleep, waking up, or during periods of deep meditation or quiet reflection. The departed rarely appear as traditional ghostly figures. Instead, their presence is often communicated through meaningful symbols, uncanny synchronicities, or distinct sensory experiences, such as a familiar, beloved scent filling the air, a significant song playing at a poignant moment, or even objects moving in unexplained yet meaningful ways. These gentle signs are often reported at pivotal moments in life: births, marriages, graduations, or during times of profound crisis when guidance or comfort is most needed, suggesting an awareness attuned to our deepest emotional states and significant life events rather than constant observation. One moving account tells of a combat veteran who, during an intensely dark period where he contemplated ending his life, felt a sudden, distinct physical pressure on his shoulder, his fallen best friend's signature gesture of support. In that instant, he knew, with a certainty beyond words, that his friend was there, urging him to keep going. How might our understanding of consciousness itself be evolving to encompass these deeply human experiences? Intriguing parallels to these deeply spiritual perspectives on consciousness and connection can be found in some of the more avant-garde explorations within theoretical physics. For example, the physicist David Bohm proposed a concept of an implicate order, a deeper, underlying reality for which our perceived physical world unfolds. Within such a model, consciousness might exist at a more fundamental level than matter itself, potentially continuing its existence in this deeper reality after the physical body ceases to function. Similarly, the idea of non-local consciousness, as explored by researchers like Dr. Pim van Lommel, suggests that our awareness may not be strictly confined to the biological workings of the brain. Instead, it might function more like a field of information that interfaces with the brain, but isn't solely produced by it. If this were true, it would offer a framework for understanding how consciousness could indeed continue after brain function has ended. Consider the account of a scientifically minded individual, initially dismissive of such notions, who experienced undeniable contact from his deceased wife. She communicated specific, verifiable information about important documents he couldn't have known about otherwise. This led him to acknowledge that our current scientific models might need to expand to truly understand consciousness and its remarkable continuity. Perhaps some of the most compelling, though often debated, evidence for the continuation of consciousness comes from the meticulous research into children who report detailed past life memories. Dr. Jim Tucker at the University of Virginia has documented thousands of such cases, where young children provide specific, verifiable details about deceased individuals they couldn't possibly have known through normal means. These details can include obscure personal information, the cause of death, and even the location of hidden items. These diverse threads, from personal experiences and spiritual traditions to tentative scientific parallels and systematic research, begin to weave a consistent pattern. They align remarkably well with broader spiritual insights, such as those suggesting the afterlife consists of various vibrational states or dimensions, with consciousness continuing its journey through these planes. The departed, from this viewpoint, maintain awareness of loved ones primarily through the enduring bonds of affection and shared experience, rather than constant oversight, as their own spiritual evolution remains their primary focus. If this journey of reflection and discovery speaks to your heart, supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel allows us to continue sharing these inspiring explorations together. What, then, is the ultimate nature of this veil between worlds? And how might these ongoing connections transform our very understanding of life and how we choose to live it? As we weave together these diverse threads, the heartfelt experiences, the insights from spiritual traditions, and the intriguing parallels from scientific inquiry, a profound picture begins to emerge. The veil between our world and the realms beyond may indeed be far thinner, more permeable than our modern mindset has often allowed us to perceive. Perhaps, as some wise spiritual teachers suggest, the very question of whether the dead watch us from a distant over there assumes a separation that may, in a deeper sense, be an illusion. Could it be that the boundaries we perceive between here and there are constructs of our limited physical perception? This resonates with concepts like quantum entanglement, where interconnected particles remain linked regardless of distance, hinting at a universe more unified than our everyday senses reveal. Consider also the baffling phenomenon of terminal lucidity, where individuals with severe cognitive impairments experience sudden, complete clarity shortly before passing, engaging in meaningful conversations and recognizing loved ones after years of apparent disconnection. Such moments challenge the assumption that consciousness is solely a product of a perfectly functioning brain. And what are the countless stories of symbolic reassurance? A grieving mother planting flowers at her daughter's grave, only to have a butterfly, her daughter's beloved symbol, land on her hand and stay for precious minutes, bringing an undeniable wave of peace and a knowing beyond words that her child was okay and still present in some way. These experiences, along with consistent reports from various fields of research, suggest that departed loved ones are most aware of our deep emotional states, particularly attuned to moments of joy, crisis, or significant transition. Their communications, when perceived, typically focus on reassurance, love, and occasionally gentle guidance, rather than surveillance of our daily routines. Perhaps love itself is the very fabric of this connection, the eternal current that allows awareness and affection to transcend physical separation. As we conclude this exploration, we are reminded of ancient wisdom that views death not as a final ending, but as a profound transformation, a passage from one room to another in the vast mansion of existence. As we reflect on our shared journey and the profound interconnectedness of all things, comment, "We are connected," below to affirm this universal truth with our community. And your exploration doesn't have to end here. Click the video now appearing on your screen for another powerful message.